Hello and welcome to the video. I'll be taking you through some of the modifications and upgrades I'll be making to this Dell Optiplex 755 small form factor PC. So first of all, I started with a power supply conversion. Basically involved cutting out a section of the metal here with a reciprocating saw. It's only holding on by one washer and screw at the moment, so I'm hoping to make a cutout here so I can stick another screw in, and also a cutout here for another screw. So this basically converted a Dell proprietary power supply into a TFX power supply. Also has to cut some of the metal out here. This was a lip which the old power supply went under. Now this power supply comes in line with this metal lip, so that's why I had to cut out the metal. The next modification I'm planning to make is a fan cutout here for a 70mm fan, where the fan will go under it and a grill will go over the top. I originally wanted to put it here, but that would have interfered with the graphics card and also the Dell logo. So yeah, let's get started with the teardown. Now, all of these I think it's okay to leave in. All the dremeling will be done down here at the bottom. Down here at the bottom. So I think it's fine to leave all this in up the top. So now I can take you through a quick overview of what I'm going to do. Once again, it's cutting some slits at the back here, cutting some slits here, cutting a hole in the top of the case, round about here to fit a 70mm fan underneath and a 70mm grill over the top. Also, I'm going to have to grind off two struts here so they can, otherwise it won't let me push the lid down because it's interfering with the power supply, because this power supply is taller than the older one. So I've got to cut off these two struts here which reinforce the panel. First things first, I'm going to have to draw out the proper measurements on the case. So for that I'm going to use some masking tape and apply it to roughly the area I'll be cutting out the hole. That's about it for there. So as you can see, we've got enough room there for the fan to be fitted. So first of all, I know that if the fan has to start at least 135mm away from the top. Power supply over there, and the chassis intruder detection switch will be roughly around here, and I'll need to get around that somehow. So I need 135mm before the fan starts. So I've put 105mm on the vernier. And now we know that the fan has to start somewhere after that line there. Somewhere after that line. Now the next is the metal lip on the side of the case, which is around 14mm. So if I measure 14mm from the side, we'll get somewhere around there. So if I draw a line straight down from that, my fan can start anywhere from here. So if I finish off that line, it's not exactly straight, but it's just a rough area for now of where the fan is able to go. So the fan can start anywhere here, and I want it as close to the lines as possible because I want enough clearance for the GPU fans. So somewhere like there would be optimal if I can get that straight, which that looks pretty straight to me already. If I can just see where that L is, because I know this L is perfectly straight, then I'll just line that up parallel. So as long as I'm parallel with that line now, and within the bounds of what I've already drew, then that is perfectly straight. So I downloaded this template online. I've cut out the circle and pierced through the fan holes, and I should be able to get great mount. It appears as though I need some more masking tape. I just need the circle perfect for now. Now that should be about fine. So if I can just go around this circle, that should be fine to cut out now, that circle should. So I'll just get that circle back in line, and then I can do a little dot in the centre there for the centre of that hole, and now pivot it round until it's straight. This here is the straightest line because this was the side of the paper. So if I get the circle lined up with this lined up on the left, which is like that, then I can just pivot it round until it's roughly the same as here as it is here. Now it's roughly straight. Now I can just do the circles for where the pilot holes will go. And there we are. Now that should be fine to cut out the circle and drill the pilot holes. As a quick little digress, I thought I'd take you through the upgrades that I'm planning to make with this system. So before I had a HD 4350. It's not really good for gaming or anything like that, but now I've got a GTX 750 Ti low profile. I'm just going to take the bracket from this and apply it to that and skip the VGA. I also have a Q6600, whereas before I was using an E6550. I also have a Crucial 120GB SSD. Before that would have been a hard drive to boot off. And whereas before I had 4 times 1GB sticks of RAM, I've now got 4 2GB sticks of RAM. These are running at a slow speed. These are 667 MHz. The previous ones were 800 MHz. I shouldn't think it'll make too much of a difference in gaming, but that can easily be tested. Right, so here we are. All the mods have been done. If you look here at the back, we now have 3 screws holding the power supply, as opposed to just the one. I mean, it's a lot more solid on the inside now. The next modification was to create the fan mount. It went a little bit wrong. It shifted, the template shifted whilst I was drilling the holes. Also because I had to cut the circle out with a Dremel. It's not a perfect circle, but I do have some U-channel to help that look a lot more like a circle. If I would have had a hole saw, that would have been a lot better. I didn't find out till later that my dad says I could have used his hole saws, so that would have been better. But it's done now, so this U-channel should help it look a lot more like a circle. The next mod obviously was to grind off these at the back. It was so hard because it's stainless steel. It was so hard to do, so I just had to end up cutting through the side pieces here, what's sticking up. I went through a total of 5 cutting discs with this one. It's real solid metal. So yep, I'm going to apply the U-channel now, so you can see how much better it'll look once it's been applied. I've already cut this to size, by the way. So it's just a total of getting most of it on, running my fingers around the edges to make sure it's all on, and it should all hopefully line up nicely. Like that. See, that looks so much better now. I am just waiting on the fan grill for this, but I reckon I may as well stick it all together now, test if it works. Okay, so here it is all put together. I'm still waiting on the fan grill. Works fine. I have had a few problems though. So the RAM didn't work. What was there to expect really from Dell's shitty model of you having to purchase theirs? So I swapped it back out with the 4x 1GB sticks. Also, as you can probably see down here, the hard drive fan was never working. So as soon as I would launch up the computer, even back before I did all these mods, it used to say rear fan failure. So obviously now the hard drive is out, it's still going to say that. So what I've had to do is the front fan, I've had to wire up the sensor wires from the front fan to the sensor pins on the motherboard for the rear fan too. That way it tricks the system into thinking it's got a rear fan, so the rear fan failure message doesn't show up. The other thing I've changed, which I haven't bothered recording, is I've changed this fan here, the one that I've added in, to 5V on the Molex instead of the 12V, because the fan was just too loud. So 12V was too loud for that, so I changed it over to the 5V. So before we get into the benchmarks, I'd just like to say, once I do put the grill on, I will leave a picture at the end of the video. So before I get into the benchmarks, I'd just like to show you around the actual system. There we are. And I'd like to tell you what would make somebody want to do this. Well, the TFX power supply mod. Well, this TFX power supply, which is 80 plus bronze from FSP Group, cost around £8 on eBay, which is how much I paid for it. Whereas the Dell replacement power supply would have cost anywhere between £30 to £40. So that's one reason why somebody might want to do this. The reason why somebody might want to do the fan cutout on the side would be because the heat output of the upgrades. For example, the GTX 750 Ti, it runs kind of cool, but combined with the Q6600 in a small system like this, it's obviously going to throw out a lot of heat. Some people are probably wondering why I had another intake fan at the front, at the back, as there's one in the front also. That's because I'm hoping that the air from both of those fans meets up somewhere in the centre, in which case the exhaust fan inside the power supply will pull that out too, as well as the passive ventilation at the back. An exhaust fan would have probably done the exact same. I'd like to say I don't really expect to play the latest AAA titles on this machine. It's mainly games from around the late 2000s to the mid 2010s, such as BioShock and Tomb Raider for 2013 edition, those sorts of games, possibly some of the earlier Assassin's Creed games, as well as some newer indie games like Fall Guys.